Today is my first day of high school, but I'm not going. A kid was stabbed, so there's no school today. I'm sitting in the bedroom, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't really want to go to that school anyway. Maybe it's for the best. I don't have any in common with those kids. But really, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I don't get to start high school, I'll have to go back to Jamaica, and I won't get to be with my mother. It's 1991 in the Bronx, and Evander High School was the closest to our apartment, only a train ride away. I had already plotted out the route. You walk down 225th to White Plains Road, get on the number 2 train, take it to the first stop, Gun Hill Road, walk about another block and a half up towards Bronxwood Avenue, and to the right, there's this large municipal building with some big stairs in front. Those were the stairs that the kid got stabbed on. My mother, being the ever resourceful, determined, entrepreneurial, single mother she was in the other room working on the next thing, the pivot move. This was something she'd done most of her life. She was on the phone with the SBMN, the Single Black Mothers Network. Whenever there was a crisis, there was a series of calls that had to be made to come up with a solution. First, it was Auntie P, then Miss Levon, then it was Auntie Shirley or Auntie Lorna. Auntie Lorna had the solution this time. Her aunt lived in Westchester County. This was the suburbs of the Bronx. And she agreed to let us use her address so that I could go to school in her town. So tomorrow is my first day of high school again. We get a call from my new auntie, Aunt Madge, and she says that the school district contacted her and they need to have an inspection. They need to make sure that I actually live there, that I actually reside in that neighborhood before I could go to school there. So my mother tells me to pack some things so that we could go over to this lady's house and make it look like I live in her house. This wasn't the first time my mother told me to pack some things. The last time this happened was when she left for America. I didn't see her for another 4 years. So I wasn't sure if this was a leave Tafari and go situation or something else. So I made sure I packed the important stuff. First, I packed the pictures. Pictures of me, pictures of her, pictures of us together. Then I packed the letters that she wrote to me while she was away. And finally, the birthday cards and the Christmas cards. I take some clothes and I put them in the bag with my toiletries and I grab my coat. We go over to this lady's house, my new auntie, and it's a nice house. She has 2 kids of her own, and it's a very, very nice house. And she introduces me to her daughter, and she asks her to take me upstairs to the room. We go upstairs, and it's not a guest room, it's a kid's room. I enter this room, and there's pictures, there's trophies, there's posters on the wall, there's medals, there's pictures on the chest, and there's a closet full of clothes. I see this young boy next to his sister and his mother, and I wonder where he is. I think to myself, maybe he went to a friend's house, or maybe he's with family and he's letting me borrow his room for the night, just so we could get through this. It'd be years later that I find out that he was actually in prison. It was the 90s, and I guess violence was everywhere. I methodically replace his stuff with my stuff. I take his picture down and I put up my picture. I put his picture in the drawer. I take some of his clothes out and I put my clothes in. And then I put my cards up and I put the rest of my clothes in the closet. The inspector comes and he looks around really quick, takes about 30 minutes and he leaves. And then me and my mother go back to our house. I start figuring out the new route for my new school. First, it'll be a little bit longer. I still have to take the same train, take the number 2, but now I'm going in the opposite direction. But then I have to get on the 42 bus. I take that to the very last stop, and then I take a second bus, the number 7. I take the number 7 bus, and I get off at the stop right across from the park with the big ponds. As I walk across the park, I walk between these 2 huge twin lakes, and I see this massive building in front of me. Not massive in the sense that it's tall, but massive in the sense that it's wide. It takes up the full width of both ponds. There's a clock tower in the middle of the building, and on top of the clock tower are 2 statues. And I walk between these lakes, and connecting the building to the path of the lake is a footbridge. And there's a bunch of kids on the footbridge. On the left side, it looks like those are the seniors. They're smoking in front of the no smoking sign. And on the right side, they're the athletes. They have jerseys on. And in between are the kids playing hacky sack that you have to navigate through. I look up at these 2 huge doors, and as I push the doors through, push these double doors, and I enter the building, I realize it's my first day of high school.